Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
We are gonna start in a couple of minutes, just waiting for somebody also to join the session.
Welcome, everyone. Oh, I'm just realizing my colors are on. Here we go.
Okay, I think we can kick off the session.
Yay.
And yes, and so hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, which is part of the ongoing EU Code Week webinar series. I'll introduce myself. My name is Anna, and I'm a project assistant at All Digital. And I'm delighted to be your host for today's session. Before we start, I'd like to share with you some housekeeping now. So this webinar is being recorded, and the recording will later be available on the EU Code Week YouTube channel. If you prefer not to appear in the recording, please keep your camera off and your microphone muted throughout the session. Today's webinar is designed to be interactive, so we encourage you to participate and share your ideas. The session will last approximately 45 minutes, and there will be the time at the end for question and answers. So feel free to note down any question you have as we go along. Now, to put this webinar into the broader context of EU Code Week, the idea behind this series is to create a space for mindful discussion and provide practical resources to support the organization of events, hackathon, for example, and other activity as well. We are also here to showcase inspiring success stories with the help of the experts in the field. So today we are here for an interactive section exploring Octo Studio, which is a free creative coding app for mobile devices developed by the team that created Scratch. This tool is a powerful tool for children to create interactive stories, games, and projects. And this allows them to sparking creativity in the learning process. But to find out more about the Octo Studio, I'll introduce you its expert and creator that is going to lead this session. So, Theo, thank you so much for being here today, and I can give the floor to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anna. I'm really excited to be here with you all. I lost my share window, so let me get that back. All right, how's that? Yes, that's working? Great. So I'm
Yes.
really excited to be here with you all to share this new creative coding activity with Octo Studio. We've just put up some resources for educators for this activity and for another one that I'll share at the end. So it's really a wonderful opportunity to share with some educators. And I wanted to say that my friends and my colleagues from the Octo Studio team, Zoe, Eric, Jenny, João, and Natalie are also on this webinar. They'll be in the chat, and we'll have time for questions at the end. But if a question pops up and you want to ask it in the chat, then feel free. Like Anna said, this is going to be a very interactive webinar. So if you have some materials, like if you have some crayons or markers or paper, um, Play-Doh or Model Magic, something to create a little creature with, it would be great for you to grab those so we can create along together. I'm also going to put up this slide with some QR codes. So if you haven't downloaded Octo Studio yet and you want to follow along, you can. So this is a totally free app for phones and tablets where kids can create their own stories, games, animations, really anything they want. We launched this a little over a year ago in October of last year. And it was really designed for communities with little to no internet access. So once downloaded, you don't need any kind of internet access. This also means that there's no data collected. You don't need to use there's no account system. So you don't need an email to sign up or anything like that. It's available in 30 languages. So we designed this in collaboration with our global partners from all over the world. And so it's really cool to have a block coding app in a lot of different languages, including right to left languages. I also wanted to share that it has some accessibility features for blind and low vision users. It works with a screen reader. It has some like cool sonification features, and we're always working to improve the accessibility features. And like I said before, it's totally free. There's also no ads and no in-app purchases. Um, so now that the QR code is up for a bit, if you missed downloading it, I think that my friends will be sharing the download links in the chat as well. And so the way that this is a little bit of the structure for our webinar today, we'll spend a little bit of time imagining what we want to make. So we'll think about a creature. We'll also look at some of the cool, unique features of Octo Studio so we can start to get some ideas about what we might want to do with those features. And we'll look at some project examples. Then we'll have some creation time together where you can follow along if you want. And at the end, we'll have some sharing. And I would love to see some of what you all made, if anyone's comfortable sharing. But we also have some resources that we're really excited to share with you. So this activity is called Create a Creature. So we'll start off by thinking, what's an animal or a creature that you find interesting? It could be a real animal, or it could also be like a fantastical creature or something that you just made up. Um, and if you have some materials with you, you can start to make it right now as I go through some of the next slides. So if you thought of like a little dog, you could start drawing or making a little dog, whatever it is that you want. And feel free to also, I'm having trouble seeing the chat. I'm still getting used to Teams, but feel free to drop in the chat what your creature is. Let me see if I can get access to it. How do I go back? Well, I'm just going to ask that maybe Anna and Dia or one of my friends unmutes if there's something in the chat that I should look at because I am struggling to find it.
Yeah, we can let you know. No,
Okay.
nothing shared so far, but
Thanks, Natalie. All right, so we'll do a quick look at some of the features of Octo Studio because it's designed for mobile phones and tablets. So in the smaller portable format means that it's both easier to bring your world into your projects because you can walk around with a phone, take pictures and record sounds. It's also easier for you to embed Octo Studio projects in your world using physical materials. And we've also designed it to make use of all of the mobile features like the accelerometer in the phones and the magnet sensor. So let's take a look. So you can have something happen when you shake your phone. You can have something happen in response to a magnet. Now, most phones have a magnet sensor, and a lot of tablets do too, but not all of them. You can use tilt to control something in your project, and this is also an example of adding a physical material to your project to create a steering wheel. And you can also create a collaborative project using Beam, which is a Bluetooth feature. So you can have one thing trigger something happening on something on one device, trigger another thing on another device. Because of the format, it's also really convenient to take a picture wherever you are and cut that out to include in your project. So it's really all about bringing in your interests, bringing in your world. A cool thing is you can access the flashlight and create a little bit of like a light show type of project with that. The format also means that it's easy to embed Octo Studio projects into real world craft projects. So this is an example of a little frame of a house and how you can animate something happening inside of the house. And finally, we really want to encourage people to share their projects with others. So there's a way to export a video or a GIF or even just the project file if you want to share and want your friend to be able to open your project, maybe remix it. And now we'll show some examples. So this is something, a create a creature project that I made a while ago with, I drew a little turtle and I cut it out and I have it, walk over to the sweet potato and eat. Or you can also play soccer, and when I tap it, it glows and jumps a little bit. Here's a different interpretation of Design a Creature from one of our friends, Mariana, where, she really designed a frame for the phone that looks like a creature and added some really simple code for sound and for movement to bring it to life. And now we're going to get to the part where we are going to start creating together. All right. Let me switch my sharing. Oh, I can catch up with the chat now a little bit. Thank you, friends, for sharing links in the chat. And if anyone has any questions so far, feel free to drop them in the chat as well. So now let me share with sound. All right. Does everyone see my phone screen? Great. So when you start off with an Octo Studio project, you'll see, the Create New Project button. We'll tap that. And you can start from a sprite or you can start from a background. I think for this one, we can start from a sprite. And there's all of these categories of sprites. One of the things I want to highlight is we really put a lot of thought into the design of the characters, especially the people. So the standard library of people emojis is not very diverse in terms of body size and skin color, hair type. And so we made, Natalie, do you remember how many extra emojis we've made? But it's quite a
Yeah, it's
lot.
more than 200. We adapted, it changed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's really great for kids or for anyone to really be able to feel like they can put themselves in their projects. But this one is Design a Creature. So we'll go to the animal category and we'll just pick one of the default animals to start. I wonder if anyone can give me a suggestion in the chat for one of these animals that we could start with. Let's see.
Alula since chicken.
I see many suggestions in the chat, but I think that we lost Theo for a second, so let's give them a moment to come back. That's always the beauty of having live webinars. You never know when the connection might freeze, so let's give them a moment to join again.
Yeah. Oh, there. I see Teo's screen.
Hello, am I back?
Yes, you're back.
I don't
Welcome.
know. And the Teams app just quit on me, but now I'm back. Was there any chat suggestions for a
There is
creature?
a lot of suggestions in the
Oh,
chat,
wow.
so
Okay.
you will have a tough time now deciding which one is going to be the winner.
Dia, do you want to pick one for me? Because I still don't know how to see the chat when I'm in presenting mode.
Well, the first one that arrived is chicken, so I think we can start with the first one maybe.
All right, so let's go with the chicken, the rooster. And now that you've picked a character, you can pick a background. So maybe this chicken can be sort of like in the dirt road. Here we go. And once you're in the creation part, you see this coding palette at the bottom here. So these are where you have lots of categories of different coding blocks. We have motion, words and sounds, setting the scene, color and light. And if you're familiar with Scratch or with other block coding programming languages, you can stack these blocks in sequences to make something happen. So just as a quick example, I can drag the jump block, connect it with this one play button. When I press play, our chicken will jump. Let me, all right, here we go. So I think one thing that I'll start off with is maybe one of the sounds. Is the sounds happening? Can you guys hear this if I play this?
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. So I'm gonna have my creature say something. So I'm gonna use the speak block, which is really funny but this is a talking chicken.
Hello.
And so this is like a text to speech type of block. You can type whatever you want in there. I'm gonna try saying hi friend.
Hi, friend.
And you can also change the voice a little bit.
Hi, friend.
That sounds more like a chicken voice to me. Another thing we can have a creature do maybe is move or jump. So I'm going to drag out the jump block. And then I can also edit to make him jump higher or maybe faster also. And maybe one thing that I'll do is I'll have this happen instead of when play,
Hi, friend.
like the hi friend, I'll have it happen when I tap my character. So that's in the yellow category where there's a lot of different blocks for how to initiate a sequence. So when I tap on the rooster, he jumps. Maybe I want to have him play a sound as well and jump. So I'll go back to the sound category and I'll drag out this play sound block. It's already set to the sound of the rooster. So when I tap him and make that sound, I'm actually going to swap the order. So I'll move the sound block here. And there's a little menu on the sound block that you can tap and you can play the sound until done or play it and continue. So I'm going to do play and continue because I want him to make a sound and jump at the same time. There we go. Okay, great. So now I think what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to make a little creature because I want to show you how to take a picture and add that to your project. So let me see real quick. Can you guys see my hands?
Yep.
Great. So I'm using some model magic here, and I'm gonna make a little like fantastical creature. So it doesn't have to be anything super, super fancy, but there's the body. And there's maybe some feet. And I'm wondering if anyone's making along with me, if you want to share what creature you're working on or you thought of in the chat. So here's a little body, and there's some feet. And here I have some googly eyes. So I'll give it some eyes as well. Let's see. I feel like it needs a smiley face. Without a smiley face, it's a little strange. Let's see now. That's cuter, right? Great. So there's my creature. And now I'm just going to add it to the same project. So if you go on tap on the current sprite, the rooster, you'll open up the sprite menu. We'll go on the plus, and you can paint your own character in the app. You can also take a picture or use the picture that you have. So I'm going to go on the camera. I'm going to take a picture of this little guy. And I'm going to use my finger to cut it out. Let's see. Now we have our creature right in our project. I'm going to add the rooster code. I'm going to copy it over to our new creature. So if you hold down on a block, you get a little menu like this, and you can copy script over. So I'll copy that one, and I'll copy this one. And now we can just have our little creature friend that we made. All right, so let's see what that's. So that's
Hi, friend.
hi, friend. Maybe we can pick a different sound. So I'll go, if you tap in the middle here of the play sound block where it says rooster, you can record your own sound. You can also go to the sound library. So if you go on the speaker, these are all the sounds that we have included. I'm going to maybe give it like a laugh. Yeah, I think that's cute. So it's a laughing sound creature. And what should we do next? Maybe we can draw some kind of food that the creature eats. I'm going to draw it in the app. So I'm going to go back to the sprite palette, add a sprite, and use the paint tool. And what kind of food would this creature eat? I think that it would like to eat maybe like some ice cream, some vanilla ice cream. So I'll draw like that. I can use the paint bucket tool to fill. And I will make a little cone. There we go, that's a little ice cream cone. Maybe it needs some sprinkles. Pistachio sprinkles. And now we can have our creature maybe eat the food when we tap on the ice cream. So you can see here that the background is the ice cream and on the top it is the ice cream. So we know that we're writing code for the ice cream now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the yellow. I'm going to use that same when tap block. So when I tap on the ice cream, I'm going to go to the motion category now, and we have this block called go to sprite. So when I tap on the ice cream will go to our creature sprite. So that's pretty good already.
Hi, friend.
Oops, I pressed play. I forgot that the play did a hi friend. But I also wanted to play a sound. I'm going to go back, play a sound, and continue. And I know that in the sound library, we have like a eating sound. So I'm going to go find the chomp sound. There we go. And then I'll have it go back to its after that. So in the motion category, we have this go to block. And you can tap on the middle, and it's already set to this starting location. So now when I tap on the ice cream, I'll go over to the friend, there'll be a chomp sound, and it'll go back. Okay. Maybe one more thing that we can do is we can have our creature go to different places, right? So I'm going to go, if you go on the top palette, there's a background button. So if you go there, you can add a new background. And maybe our creature can go to the beach. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is, now that I have that background added there, if you go to the purple category, there's a block called Set Backdrop. And if you tap into the menu for that block, you can also say Next Backdrop. So I'm tapping on this block and you can see that it switches the backdrop. I'm going to go back to the yellow and find the when tap block. So this block also has a menu. So instead of tapping on the ice cream, I'm going to select the when I tap on the backdrop. I will change the backdrop. So let's take a look at our project now. On our creature to have him jump and laugh, we can tap on the background to change the background. We can tap on the ice cream to have him eat the ice cream. I'm actually going to change, I'm going to set the backdrop. I'm going to have him shake my phone. Yeah, that way we can have some different things happening. So when I shake, the backdrop changes. Yeah. So let me stop sharing for a second. Check out the chat. Who doesn't like ice cream? And our friend Vito is here. Hi, Vito. And Lula as well. Oh, Dia's trying with a sloth. How is that going, Dia?
Well, it got stuck a bit with the ice cream, and then I put a strawberry, and I actually wanted to change the background, but now I'm just adding a bunch of food, so the sloth is gonna eat a lot before changing the background. That's where I am right now.
A well-fed sloth.
It's enjoying.
That's wonderful. Let me find my slides window again. Huh. Ah, here it is. Hmm. Do you all see my slides? Do you see the create slide or no?
No, we don't see the slides.
Let's see.
Maybe it was loading.
Oh, maybe we can try it again. Here we go. This one?
Yes.
Nice. So when we run this activity, we might print out some of these prompts. So where does the creature live? How does it move? What sound does it make? What does it eat? Because these are ideas to get kids started thinking about what they want to add to their project, right? So we added a change backdrop feature so we could talk about where it lives or where it likes to go. We added a jump block so we can talk about how the creature moves. We added sounds and food that it likes to eat. So this is a really fun activity because kids can really take it in so many different directions and work on the things that seem fun and interesting to them about their creature. So Dia shared a little bit about her sloth project. I'm wondering if anybody else feels okay to either share on video a little bit about your project, like what you made, what blocks you tried out, or also feel free to share in the chat.
I can share. I've been putting together some objects on my desk. I got inspired by how you were just using the materials. Um, okay, the hat keeps falling off, but I have this duck with fins that I've created, and I found a piece of equipment that was a little cap, and I've been trying to get it to stay on as a little hat for the duck. And I love the like also like shaking the phone to change the backdrop too. So I gotta think about like what I want to do in my Octo Studio project.
I love that, Zoe. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of things can happen when shake. Maybe it could be like change color when shake. That's a cool one, or glow. That was, yeah. Does anybody else have something they want to share about like something they tried or a block that they discovered? Oh, I think the light just turned on in here. I'll be right back. Oh, okay. Well, before we move on to some question time, I wanted to also share with you all that this activity that we just did, we just put up a bunch of resources for educators about it. So if you go to octostudio.org/HOC, because we made these activities for Hour of Code, you'll see both the create a creature and a tilt game activity. So when you go to the go to activity page, you'll see some videos that our friend Zoe stars in, where, these videos basically walk through some of the things that we did today about drawing a creature, giving it food to eat, changing the background. Here you'll also find an educator guide. So this is really nice because it shares some learning objectives, some curriculum connections, a list of what you need to prepare for the activity. The slides that you saw, if you go here, you can access them and use them in your classrooms or in your learning spaces. We have like a sample sort of schedule for running this activity. And same thing for the tilt activity that you can find here. So the tilt activity also has some videos, extra things to try, and an educator guide. And finally, I also wanted to share some activities from our friends at the Exploratorium. So they have all of these, like 8 different OctoStudio explorations that are really fun and tinkerable. So for example, there's one that is playing with patterns. There's bring a book to life, making faces with found objects in OctoStudio. So this is also a really wonderful resource for educators. Please check it out. And thank you for sharing in the chat, friends. And now we have like maybe 10 or 13 more minutes for questions if anyone has any. I can finally see the chat. So we are learning Scratch in primary school in Croatia and love the video tutorials you create. +1 to Zoe and Eric for those Scratch tutorials. We can make Christmas card between our students. Yeah, actually we're having a local OctoStudio card making workshop soon this week as well. It's a good time. Oh, actually, I forgot to share one thing. Let's see, let's go back to the slides. Let's see. Yes, so we're on social media at OctoStudio app on LinkedIn, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Facebook. So you can follow us there. We share a lot of videos, resources, prompts. We also reshare a lot of work that other people are doing with OctoStudio around the world. So it's a great way to be inspired. And then this QR code is for our newsletter, where we also share like big news or big updates or events related to OctoStudio. So if you're interested in staying up to date, you can sign up for the newsletter. I'll leave that up for a little bit. Thanks, Jenny, for sharing those links. Yeah, maybe for my friends on the Octo Studio team, is there something we could share that I missed?
I wonder, Teo, if you want to show how you can export your project,
Oh, that's a good one. Thanks,
because
Eric.
there's a lot of different ways you can do that. And it's kind of fun.
Let me share that. Okay. So once you're happy with a project, you want to share it with a friend. At the top left, next to the home button, there's a little box with the arrow. That's the share page. So one way that you can share a project is you can record a video. So if I start the recording, I can.
Hi, friend.
It automatically sort of presses play. I can tap and have the same things happen while the recording is being made. And I'm shaking to change the background. Once you stop the recording, it'll save the video, it'll process the video a little bit. And then you can save it to photos, or you can send it through your normal social media, texting, email channels. I'll go back to the share modal. Another way that you can share is you can make a GIF. So it's really similar to the video. It just doesn't have sound, and it's a little shorting.
Hi, friend.
A little shorter. But it's nice because when you share a GIF, for example, in a text message, it just sort of shows up. It kind of looks like a sticker. And finally, you can send the project file. So you can name a project. I'm going to say my beach creature. And send that project file again via email, or if it's between two iPhones, AirDrop. You can upload it to like a Google Drive if you want to share a project with lots of people, or if you want to share like a sample project with a classroom or something like that. So then to open the project file, the other person will need to have Octo Studio downloaded. It's a great suggestion. Anything else I should show? Any ideas? I think I finally.
I'd be curious if other people have ideas on how they might use it, or suggestions.
Dia says, I absolutely love that you can make a GIF from your project. Yeah, it's really great. I think it's fun to make things with like my friends' faces and send it to
That's
them.
exactly what I was thinking about.
Because you can really use your, pictures from your camera roll or anything that you want. So it's really personal. Ooh. Vero has her hand raised. Vero, I don't know how to like go to you, but feel free to unmute and ask a question if you want, or share something.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I want to tell you something. I was in a workshops of people who never use technology. They are artisans. They are people, native people from different places. And then I took a workshop with them. Yes, using my hands, and they were my teachers. But I took photographs of what are they doing, and I put it in Octo Studio, and I show them what they can do and what the wonderful work they can do. They were surprised of what lovely things they made. They said things with their voices. They feel so comfortable because they know people loves what they do, and they can use us of the studio with the little videos to show to the world what they do. And this is so wonderful. I think is the best way to be in contact with people.
Yeah.
And Octo Studio is my best tool because I have it in my phone. I can take photographs and I can use their voices. I made them to sing. If you have a few moments, I made this flower with corn leaves,
Mm.
and they show me how to do. They show me how to. I'm here doing my things, but this is the woman who was showing me how to use my corn, and
Mm.
I made a video of her. Let me show you. Um, uh, oh, sorry.
Oh,
The
wow.
flowers.
I saw it jump.
Yes. Let me again. And she sang. Oh, sorry. Oh, when you want to do things.
I see there's a question too about ages.
But
Oh yes,
she's
Teo, there's a question.
she's singing. She's singing about flowers.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing, Vital.
There's a question in chat, Teo, which is, from what age do you think it can be used?
Oh, that's a really good question. So we've done workshops with people from all ages. I did a workshop with the homeless workers movement in Brazil, where in the same workshop we had 4-year-olds and we had 64-year-olds. So we've done a few of like family, family creative learning style workshops. So I really think that it can be used by lots of ages, even pre-literate kids. Me and my friend João, we did some workshops with kids who couldn't read yet, but because the blocks are designed, there's a color, there's an icon. It's really easy for kids to, once you kind of show them what a block does, to remember and be able to make the things that they want, with a little bit of guidance. But what is it that we say, like the target, like I think like 7 to 12-year-olds specifically, it seems to really resonate with that age range. So a lot of like late elementary school or early middle school age. I also saw somebody say here, storytelling will be a great idea for English as a first language class. And that's true. Like Octo Studio is such a great app for storytelling style projects. That reminded me that I wanted to share. I think I'm still sharing my phone screen, right? Yes. Okay. So in the main Octo Studio page, there's also a tab called the Explore tab. And here, there's some sample projects. So almost like some starter files. One of them is an interactive story starter file. So it has some things that you might want to use for a story, like changing the backdrop. So that's just one more small resource I wanted to share, the Explore tab with some sample projects.
Thanks, Taya. I think there is a hand up in the chat, but I'm also new to Teams, so I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah, Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I see that Auto Studio is not available in Bulgarian language, unfortunately.
Oh.
Well, we'd love to have you translate if you're interested. So yeah, that would be great.
My grandsons are Bulgarian, half Bulgarian. I'm going to try to use the Bulgarian projects with them in this Christmas because I'm going to be with them.
Oh,
and we can share a little. Nazdrave.
Yeah. Yeah, Sylvia, if you want, we can get in touch because we all of our translations come from our volunteers and partners, educators that we work with around the world. So it would be great to have Bulgarian.
Okay.
That's great, I think. Thank you very much, Theo, to share this incredible tool with us. And I can definitely see that from this session, a lot of inspiration and a lot of questions also come up. And I'm really, really thankful to you for this. And as we are running out actually of our time, I see myself in the position of wrap up this session. So once again, I want to thank everyone for joining today's webinar. And of course, a huge thank you to our speaker, Theo, for sharing their experience and guiding us through this interactive session and make us to know this incredible tool that a lot of people are going to use in their learning environment. As a reminder, just for wrap up, the recording of this webinar will be available soon on the EU Code Week YouTube channel, so feel free to revisit and share it with your networks. I'm sure a lot of sharing of this video will happen, and I think at this point, I want to thank you once again for your participation and for being part of the Code for Europe community. So I just wanna, I don't know, Theo, if you wanna say anything before we close.
Just want to say thank you, Anna and Dia, for organizing. Also, thank you to my Octo Studio team friends for joining the call and supporting. And to everyone who joined as well, thank you for coming. And if you try out Octo Studio, with yourself or with your classroom, if you share anything on social media and tag us, like we love to see what you're doing with Octo Studio. So I encourage you to do that. Yeah, thanks. And I guess we'll, till next time.
Thank you. So have a wonderful rest of the day, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you at the future webinars. And so goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye.